in continuation with the case study, we need to review the site surface. You can see it. Then the first thing I do is to remove the elevation bound code by putting off the bulb. I've done that so that I can now focus on the site that we're actually working with. The other extent is just for us to analyze all the conditions that relate to our site. So let's now go back to our raster images to check the file details that we need to bring back the map. So now the raster imagery is shown. So you can see what we need to do is to now pick our zones and in order for us to review the work. So the next stage is for us to now link up the process of the site locations with Revit in order for us to coordinate all the building design stage as well as relate the condition of existing building in the site locations for planning and review stage. So the workflow methodology we are going to adopt in this phase is working with InfraWorks, Civil 3D, Revit, Formit Pro, and ArcGIS. So all these are the essential tools that we are going to use to explain the complete process of simplifying the BIM applications from planning to design. The other process, we want to showcase it as a real case experience, which we are going to really discuss further. Now, let's condition the site analysis to the surface. To do that, I select the surface, and this is a quick method, and add the data on boundaries. So I give it an extra reference name, outer type, then select, then a condition to within the site extent so that our setup in Revit will be well coordinated within the major work areas. So after you've done that, you can see I've reduced the pattern. So this surface now for the site area will now be exported into as a CAD file. So the next stage you go to export and export CV 3D files as a CAD file. Things you do when you want to set up a project in Revit is to coordinate the site from CV 3D and update the base reference for all your other vertical BIM applications. So let's see that. Now we assume that we're creating a new file here, new. You already have a project that you have done in Revit. You can create, you can open it as a Revit project template. But because we are just explaining to people who are learning Revit for the first time, so our unit of system in Nigeria here is metrics, and we have defined a new project. So we click open. So when you open Revit, the first thing you will do is to see your default setups because we are opening it afresh. As a layman, we want to start using Revit for the first time to set your site reference coordinates. In this case, you see the default properties tabs and the project browser. These two tabs are very important. And you see the scope box as well as the view extents. So we're not working with the building plan here, but we are coordinating the site plan. You can see. So you have to move and go straight to the site plan. That's the first thing you do when you are working on any kind of site situation, even for building site plans. Yes. So the site plans, when you click on it, This is the point you observe the reference. Let me remove the scope box and I make use of the view extent. So the so from the side there are 2 points of reference that we must take note of. People have challenges with setting up this. We have the project base point, and we also have the survey point. Now, the survey points can be connected to 3D with the benchmark or the control point details. It's very essential that this is set up. While the base reference can be assigned or designate can be assigned to the site, maybe using a building point reference or the layout of the of the building that you want to work as a reference plan. Want to do site coordination irrespective that you are working entirely on a building or different units of building, because this information will be a link file to the site. So you can work in your millimeters at your various individual building designs, but the link file will be coordinated in the metric space of the site, which will be in meters. So when you open this for site coordinations, you must review. The first thing you do is to review your unit template by clicking on the manage tabs. From the manage tabs, you select the project unit. From the project unit under the discipline common, on the distance space, you change the units to meters. You can put the limit of decimal places and as well attach the metric unit. And as well as the length details, you also specify meters. Doing the same and specifying the units. So this is the first definitions you define in your Revit interface for the site. So the next thing is to click on the surface point, and the first thing you do is to uncheck the point restrictions by clicking it off. So when you click it off, then you will coordinate from the manage tabs. You will use the coordinate informations to set by specifying the coordinate at points at this point so that it will capture the exact reference from in Civil 3D. So our east west, which is the x, is given, which I've copied. Then our y, which is the nothing, is given as 106086801. So this is it. If you confirm, let's go back to 3D. That is the, you see, this is the y, so which I've coordinated here. So you press OK. So when you press OK, you have set your base reference. You can see to the point that's defined. Then, in order for us to use the coordination of this share point or project base point, you can also add the details to it in order for it to reflect one of the points described in Civil 3D. Let's use which one? Let's use for the boundary of the site. Let's use P2. So what are the statement of P2? Check the tables. These are the details of P2. So let me copy it. This is the detail of P2. Copy the X, and so that you can use to actually set up our site accurately as a reference view. So I've entered the X, then I copy the Y. The view extender has also have to check it and see the locations. So let's put on the Y. So it has been defined. So these are the 2 points. So you need to extend your view space in order to cover the extent of your work areas. This is very important as well, so that you can get your details fixed. And let's extend it for the view space so that you can see other things you need to see. So this has been done. So the next thing is to now bring in the CAD file. So you select the import unit, which is meters, and set the origin to, because you are importing, you don't see share coordinate. So just use the origin default so that you can bring your CAD file into the space. It's coming up. So it is shown based for the site location as we define. So a means of controlling this site is, you can see the control point. So you need to move this point to the precise location, which you use this as a reference. Remember, we use our reference, our coordinations, this point. Then we check it down to the coordinate that we pick from Siri 3D. You can see this is the point. So then you move it. Okay, the thing is pinned, so let me unpin it. Sorry for that. Unpin, so I can move it now. So it has been moved. You can see these are control points. These are the spots based on what we've established. We have it accordingly at the same with the surface point. It has been defined. You can see, and there's the surface. Now, so we've set up the site within the locations, but we need to add in Revit by clicking on the manage to set the location as well in Revit. And what you have to do is click on the locations and select the region where Abuja, Nigeria. You can search for it if it's not there, but if it's there, you click on it and you go ahead with it. So let's set the zone now. That's Abuja, Nigeria. And press OK. So search the location. So the next thing I will do here, let me save my work so I don't experience any kind of issues. So I'll save this as project 3.3. So now after this, coordinate your site. The next thing to do is to now import the topo solid.